Hello, everyone. I'm James Singleton, founder of Insightful Voice, a life coaching practice based here in Boston. And over the past year or so, I've been talking to life coaches and thought leaders from around the country. And what I thought I would do is, as we reflect, you and I reflect on 2013 and think about what we really want to accomplish in 2014, what I thought I would do is just take the very best parts of these conversations, package them up, and present them to you. And so this week, you're going to see some conversations that really talk about how to achieve success and how lessons learned can make a significant impact on you moving forward. So sit back, relax, grab a glass of wine and maybe a cup of coffee, uh, and enjoy the very best of your IV. And hopefully, something said by one of these life coaches and thought leaders will contribute to this year being your very best year.
Having it all is not having everything. Having it all is having the life that you desire to live, whatever that may mean, right? So with that definition in mind, I do believe that you can have it all. You can create the life that you desire to live if you're not already living it. You can create that life. I think that the way that we create the life that we desire to live or have it all is through being extremely focused around deciding what is it that we really want in our life. What is that? Giving ourselves permission to really dream. As a kid, we daydream, but as adults, to really envision what does that life entail? What kind of relationships do we have? How do those relationships feel? What does our income look like? How do we spend that money? You know, do I want to spend my money on this? Do I want to spend it on that? What is the life that you want to live? How does that look? So to focus and create that vision in your mind, and then to become extremely intentional in a repeated and persistent and almost relentless manner about creating that life. If you do that, I know for a fact that you can have it all because you're living the life that you personally desire to live.
So for you, for people who are saying, can I really have it all? Your answer is yes, if they choose to change the definition of what all is.
Exactly.
And all is the life that you must want to live.
All right, so in the spirit of being a coach, I'm going to give you two answers because I think I come across this all the time, and I think my first answer would be that every moment is a new moment to choose. And I say that because so many people, I think, feel trapped and stuck in the routines of their life, of their lives. And, you know, every second of every day, we can stop and we can make a new decision. And there's incredible amounts of freedom in that for clients and for people and for me. And so I think that's probably one of the single most important messages is you are not trapped. You have the power, you have the freedom to choose something different if you don't like what you have. I guess the second thing, and I know I'm answering it with two answers, but the second thing is, you know, take a moment to evaluate your life's formula. Do you have the right inputs and the right outputs to work for your life? And that includes, do you have the right amount of love coming in? Do you have the right amount of work satisfaction coming in? Do you have the right amount of health and food and exercise and sleep coming into your life? And then is the right stuff coming out of your formula on the other side? Are you having the right relationships? Are you having the right joy that you want? So I think that those would be my two messages. Just make sure that you remember that every moment is a new moment to choose, and to always be checking that your formula is right.
I love that.
It's a great question. And I think in my work as a career coach and life coach, the answer would have to be knowing who you are and being that person in the world. I'm surprised to think about Socrates, know yourself.
Yeah.
But I think the more we know who we are and accept that and see it and honor it and kind of live from that, the happier we are. It's certainly true in career work. But I think it's like when people really see who they are and all their quirks and their way of being and doing things and living that way, it tends to make us happier, and I think we also benefit the world by living from that.
Yeah, I love that.
And just to say that sometimes it's hard to see those things in yourself, so you may need other people, or it may be the very things that people see in you that you don't always see.
Yeah.
I've thought about this many times. What has been my biggest challenge? It's probably just to be myself. And I say that from the standpoint of over the years, and this is really where Spirit Syrup comes from. Over the years, I've really kind of known that I was this girl with the fro and not necessarily following the path of a lot of people, even in my own family. And coming to a place of, I want to work overseas. I want to volunteer my time. I don't necessarily want to work a 9 to 5. I want more of my time back. I went to school and pursued all these certifications in search of freedom. And so now to be spending so much more time, or at moments in my life when I was spending so much time in the office and coming home exhausted and often too tired to do the thing that I wanted to do, or finding myself with a student loan, which meant that suddenly the things that I desired to do were being negotiated because of existing expenses, I said, I need to really look at my life differently. And the priority is to live freely and abundantly. You know, so to come to a place where I'm accepting that, to come to a place where I get that this is a big part of who I am, it has not been easy. Yeah, and it often means that for some people in my life, maybe family, they don't necessarily understand it. But when they start to see the steps being made and the progress is there, they say, oh, I get it.
I don't know if I can single out a specific moment or a specific challenge in my life, because I think there have been many, or I don't think I can say that I've had what Oprah calls an aha moment. But I believe as someone who is both black and gay, I'm a double minority. And I live in this duality of being both black and gay and having to deal with the racism that comes from the broader gay community and the homophobia that exists within the black community. So at every turn, I'm having to stand up boldly in my truth, walk in my truth, and claim my rightful place in the world as both a black man and a gay man. And a challenge for me has been to never leave a part of my identity behind. Whenever I walk into a space, I want to be able to walk into a space and occupy it as both a black gay man, proudly.
I realized at a certain point that the difference between the people who I had in my life who were actually living the life that they wanted to live and the people who were still praying for the life that they wanted to live was that the people who were living the life that they wanted were actively taking responsibility for their own ability to create that life. And I'll tell you that that was the biggest challenge for me, because it's a paradigm shift. How do you go from going from being a little boy and being taught that everything you get will be through the power of God, it'll be through God's will, it'll be through this presence that people almost make sound like it's outside of you. You know, when you make a request, you gotta hope that it comes true.
Right.
You know what I mean? So going from believing that my whole life to now having to accept that it's my responsibility to create it. I felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders at that point, because it's like I felt like at one point, anything I want, someone else will do the work for me. And now I'm being told and understood that no, anything that I want, I can have, but I've got to do the work. And it may be hard work, it may be long work. And that was a big challenge for me. And so the lesson that I got out of that was the lesson that I share through my platform now, which is that you're responsible for creating the life that you want to live. Like I said, it felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders at first, but now it is probably the most empowering part of my own personal mindset that guides me through my life, because now I accept that anything that I want, anything that you want is possible if you're willing to do the work to create it.
Yeah.